The program is a platform for an in-depth analysis of trending issues by professionals, authorities in various fields, analysts, and key actors in the polity. Ground Zero gives the listener an opportunity to contribute to the discussion via phone call, SMS, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. From the conservatively serious to the ridiculously funny, Ground Zero accommodates them all. Professionals, urban contemporary businessmen and women, policymakers, public service workers, students, artisans, traders, and the in-between. Ground Zero comes up on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. and Saturdays 4 to 5 p.m. Ground Zero. This program is exclusive to Invicta 98.9 FM. Tune in.
About Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. I am Ehis Admo, and the program Ground Zero today promises to be very interesting as we'll be bringing up topics and issues that I am sure you, the listener, will be very, very happy to be a part of. And the program is a program that's designed to bring up topical issues in the polity. And of course, with the guests that we have in the studio, and you, the listener, will get to analyze these issues, talk about them, discuss about them, and generally see how we can make our country, Nigeria, a better place. I am Ehis Admo. You're free to call me the peacemaker with a passion for crowd satisfaction. And today on the program Ground Zero, I'll quickly give you some of the snippets of what we'll be looking at. Well, if you don't know it now, that President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed a new chief of staff. Who is the new chief of staff? You'll get to meet him in the course of the program. Also, the federal government homegrown school feeding program for 2019 is kicking off on Thursday, 14th of May. And of course, there are so many controversies trailing it. And, of course, some people see very good things out of it. We'll also look at it today and see how we can make sense out of it. And the last, but definitely not the least, is the Almajiri crisis in Nigeria. Is it a problem for northern Nigeria or the whole of Nigeria? Let's see matters arising and how we can add our voice to this to make life a little bit easier for every Nigerian. Okay? And my guests on the program today, they are not new to the program Ground Zero, but they are bringing some fresh and new angles to what we'll be discussing on the program today. I have three guests on the program, starting from Eddie Ochigbo. Eddie Ochigbo is a veteran journalist and a media strategist. Eddie Ochigbo, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Ehis, for having me.
I did not get to hear you, Eddie, so...
Thank you very much, Ehis, for having me.
Okay.
My greatest regards to the listening public.
All right. We also have on the program today Danjuma Abbas Dangwa from Coalition of Association for Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development, CALPED. Danjuma, you are welcome to Ground Zero today.
Thank you very much, Ehis. It's a pleasure being here, and good evening to the listeners.
And the last, definitely not the least, we have Musa Bala. He's connecting to us through the phone. Musa Bala, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello?
Yes, Musa Bala, we can hear you.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Ehis, my colleagues in the studio, and good evening, listeners all over the world.
All right.
Good evening, my friend, Musa Bala.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have said the stage is set, but meanwhile, you as a listener, you can be a part of the program by going to the Invicta FM Facebook page. That's Invicta FM Kaduna, where you will see the post up. I want you to add your comment to it. You have a question, you want to add a comment, just go there and drop it there. That's at Invicta FM Kaduna. That's the name of our Facebook page. Of course, we are also on Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter is at Invicta FM 989. Go there to Twitter and be a part of it. And of course, you can listen to us from anywhere in the world. If you go to our Facebook page, you can click on the link there where it will take you to where you will download the Invicta FM app. And with the app, you can listen to us from anywhere in the world. All you need is just internet connection. And of course, for the program specific Twitter handle, you have at ground0989. You go to Twitter now, you'll see the post there at ground0989. It will be nice if you follow me on Twitter so that you can have up-to-date information about what we do on Ground Zero. That's at ground0989. That's the program specific Twitter handle. And of course, my personal handle is at ehis_peacemaker, at ehis, EHIS _peacemaker. Also follow me on Twitter so that you can send me gist, inbox me stuff, and let's generally talk, because even after the program, the conversation still continues. Okay, those are basically how you can be a part of the program. Now, let's look at details of what we'll be discussing on the program today. I'll start with the first one, which is the appointment of Ibrahim Gambari as the new Chief of Staff. A former Under-Secretary General of the United Nations, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, has been appointed the new Chief of Staff to the President. Gambari is from Kwara State and was the Minister of External Affairs between 1984 and 1985, a professor of repute and a global citizen. The 78-year-old replaces former Chief of Staff, late Abba Kyari. Professor Gambari served meritoriously in the United Nations as the Under-Secretary and Special Advisor to the Secretary General on Africa between 1999 and 2005. He is a global citizen whose scholarly works are also recognized by both home and abroad. He is the pioneer chancellor of the Kwara State University. Okay, that's the first item. Let's look at the second item, which is federal government declines disclosing details of the home school feeding program. The home school feeding program, and it's to flag it off on Thursday, 14th of May. The federal government will, on Thursday, formally flag off the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, the COVID-19 edition, intended to feed school children from their homes in the face of the lockdown following coronavirus outbreak in the country. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, is expected to launch the program at Kuje Central Primary School on the scheduled date. The Minister's Special Advisor on Media, Salisu Dambata, who disclosed this to newsmen, said details of the program would be unveiled at the launch, declining to speak on inquiries sought on some issues by media, by journalists. And that's for that. Let's quickly look at the third item that we will be discussing on the program today, which has to do with the Almajiri crisis that Nigeria is currently facing. Of course, some people don't want to see it as a crisis, but by and by it is a crisis for a large population of young Nigerians to be out of formal education, not acquiring any skills, and presently being abandoned, I would say, because most of them are being exported or deported to their parents by the various state governors where it is rampant. Most majorly Kano State leads the pack when it comes to the deportation of Almajiri to their parents or their states of origin. And of course, the backlash that's coming out of it, because many of these states where these young Nigerians have been deported or exported to, these young Nigerians are discovered to, many of them are discovered to already be infected with the COVID-19 disease. And this is becoming a major flashpoint or crisis point between state government and governors. Remembering that some time back, the northern state governors Nigerians wanted them to do something about it. And in some quarters of the governors forum, some people said it's a way of life and there's nothing that can be done about it. And with what's happening now they have been exported to their various states, and the governors also met now to take a new position, and they are looking at the possibility of abolishing the Almajiri system. These basically are the items that we'll be looking at on the program today. I'd like to start with Eddie Ochibo, then I'll go to Musa Bala, and I will come to Martins. We'll take it on that sequence. We'll start from the first item that we are looking at today, which is the appointment of Ibrahim Gambari as the new chief of staff to the president. Eddie Ochibo, what's your general take on this?
Thank you very much, the appointment of Ibrahim Gambari, from our own perspective, it has not come as a surprise, because he is not somebody that is too far away from the president.
Yeah.
If you trace his antecedents to between 1984 and 85, that 1 year, war against indiscipline, junta, the Agbong and Buhari connection. He served at that time. So, and then if you watch the trend of events, he's been coming frequently, visiting Aso Rock, and people speculate that perhaps he has his ears close to the junta, not the junta now, the cabal, and so on and so forth. So, his appointment has not come as a surprise, and he's an accomplished, scholar, accomplished diplomat, and international scholar, as you rightly put it, who has served in the United Nations as under secretary and the rest of it. So, to me, it's as if the shoes that we thought were too big to fill. Professor Gambari is by far, if you're talking of experience, character, everything, I think he's far ahead of Kiari. So I think it's a good one for the president, for him to appoint somebody that is not new to him, somebody who has been working with him and the rest of it. I think he's going to, let's see how it pans out.
All right.
But I think it's a good appointment for the Buhari administration.
Okay, let's go over to Musa Bala now. Musa Bala, are you there?
Yes, I'm close.
Okay. Professor Ibrahim Gambari's appointment, what's your take on it?
Very interesting. It's a very nice one, and it has come at the right time. Reasons very simple. Like the way my elder brother over there have just explained, it's a good one for the president to appoint somebody who has been very close to. It's just like you, Mr. His.
Yeah.
If you have opportunity to appoint anybody now, I should expect Eddie Ochubo should be one of your confidence before me.
No, not why before you? It's after you before I've come.
So it's natural. And for those that are complaining about his age, I don't think age has nothing to do with success or failure of an individual.
Yeah.
An old man can succeed and an old man cannot succeed. Just the way a young man can succeed and a young man cannot succeed.
Okay.
If I begin to mention you one of the best leaders today in the world, like Mahathir Gandhi, Mahathir Mohamad of Malaysia.
Yeah.
He's over 90.
Yeah.
And he transformed Malaysia to a standard country to the extent that they even refused him to go.
Yes.
And he has even come back at 92. And at the same time, France have never had a problem more than this time they elected Emmanuel Macron as a president.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with age.
Yeah.
And I want to wish him the best.
Yeah.
I happen to know Professor Gambari as an outstanding academician. He started teaching in New York in 1969, and he was head of the Department of Political Science at Ahmadu Bello University, 1982 to, and some of his students happened to be my lecturers in the same university, and they taught us much about him. He worked at the United Nations.
Yeah.
I think he has more good record than otherwise.
Yeah.
So Nigerians, we should please pray for them, our leaders, and it has to be in our mind that President Buhari will definitely leave office alongside with Gambari.
Wow. All right, so let's come to Danjuma Abazangwa. What's your take on this?
Well, for me, I am actually appreciating the fact that there seems to be such show of fact that perhaps the president has actually taken some learning. Whatever it is that were flaws of that office in time past, he's bringing somebody who is more known in a space of excellence to actually come into and be his confidant. So at that we can see there is some level of learning that is different from the norm. Again, President Muhammadu Buhari has not gone for that usual politician, picking somebody who is just a usual political person. And for the new man that is to succeed the office of Alhaji Abakari late, it is important to note again that he is actually going to fit into an office that had never been popular in Nigeria until this very administration. And then the job is not like the first job he did earlier, where he was the person who will stand out there to, take the beating for whatever it was that was Nigeria's image in the international community then as the foreign or external affairs minister. So the job role again has changed, and there is so much expectations from us Nigerians that at the end of the day, let's see how this man helps the presidency convey their programs in ways and forms that the people can really understand what the president is working towards and really partner with him to get there. Because at the end of it all, the most important thing from all of these appointments is to deliver good governance. And that is the best wishes we can wish somebody who is coming with the kind of resume like Professor Ibrahim Gambari.
Okay, still staying with you, Danjuma.
Yes.
Getting someone like Ibrahim Gambari to be his chief of staff.
Yes.
One will, because while appointing someone, there must be a need that you want to fill.
Yeah.
Getting someone in his caliber, of his caliber, to come in to fill that position of a chief of staff now, the first thing that will cross the mind of most average thinkers is that does he have an international credibility issue that he needs a seasoned and globally respected diplomat to come and tidy? Or he just wants to further strengthen his international or global acceptance?
Well, the truth of the matter is bare for all of us. Like I said, the office of the chief of staff had never been popular in Nigeria until this administration. Some of us cannot remember who was the chief of staff to President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, because we never had so much of him trending in the media space. Now, in the case of the office that Gambari is about to fill in now, there is clearly a space that says this source is new, the spice is new, and the kind of expectations around that office now must have really changed significantly. So, by and large, I will still insist that yes, there is the evidence that the presidency have taken learning. The image of the presidency may not have been as desired over the years. There are so many trends around what Nigerians have been talking about this administration from time before now. And clearly now he's bringing in somebody whom perhaps will help better, in terms of projecting the kind of public image that office have projected of the president over the years. Wow. So indeed, I expect that it is rumored that before Abakari's demise, he was holding meetings with ambassadors and what have you. And then there is the trip to Germany to discuss on contracts with Siemens. So with this kind of roles and responsibility that you see this man undertaking in the time past, we need someone again who can actually fill in to say better of us as a government. And if that is the kind of selection that President Muhammadu Buhari has done this time around, I would really say that it's thumbs up for him.
All right, thumbs up for him. And with that, let's quickly before we take those messages, I'd like to come to Musa Bala. Musa Bala, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, now looking at it also from the credibility angle, the impression in some quarters is that if you appoint a diplomat into such an office, it means that their thinking is that it means that you have a diplomatic issue that you want a seasoned diplomat to handle. If you employ a security expert into that office, it means that your biggest problem is security related. If you appoint an economist, it means that your biggest issues are economic problems.
Okay.
With this, does it in any way imply that the president's biggest problem is diplomacy?
As a political scientist, I have to reply you that it can be true, but it can be more than that. But the most important thing in it is a skilled administrator.
Yeah.
Apart from his own field, he can still link up with the other ones.
Okay.
No doubt about it, Professor Gambari is an outstanding diplomat.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't think there's anybody in Nigeria of recent that have his record.
Yeah.
And in playing this role, he has been playing a lot of administrative skills, even within the United Nations and Nigeria.
Yeah.
I think he is one of the best as far as Muhammadu Buhari team is concerned. So he can take care of the diplomatic aspect of the whole issue, and at the same time, he can do very well when it comes to other issues like the security, the economy, and other aspects of governance, because he has been exposed to all these things almost throughout his life. So it's a perfect choice, and or I can say it's a very, very good choice. He can do it, and he needs our support.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, let's quickly take some messages and we'll be right back on the program Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. Let's go. All right, welcome back from that commercial timeout. It's still Ground Zero right here on Invicta 98.9. My guests on the program today are Eddie Ochidbo, Musa Bala, and of course, Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. They are all seated and we are ready to go on the second lap of the program. Now, we'll be looking at the homegrown school feeding, or the home-based school feeding, because it's a school feeding, but this time around it's going to be administered on the children from their homes, and it's kicking off on Thursday formally, and it's been generating a whole lot of things. If we say that it's a homegrown school feeding, why are we now feeding children at home and still calling it school feeding? Then secondly, the purpose of the school feeding, if we recall, was also a way to encourage parents to allow their children to come to school, apart from the fact that the school feeding was one that would also give adequate nutrition to our children. And it was primarily targeted at children from primary 1 to 3 initially, and the purpose was also to encourage the local farmers to supply the basic things that the chef or those providing the food will need. This was a win-win situation for everybody if it was properly executed. But as it stands now, we are looking at a situation whereby it is not done in the school, but will be done at home. Now, what are the logistics? Because from the background we got, the media aides to the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs have refused to tell us the modality, or that's the special advisor on media, Salisu Dambata, refused to disclose or to tell us the modalities or how it's going to be generally. We now will be looking at it broadly from all of this that we are getting and from the vibes that we are getting from Nigerians, where they don't feel comfortable with a situation whereby our Commonwealth is being expended and no adequate record being provided for the citizens. Nigerians are a little bit not too comfortable with all of this. Are they? Are they not? Well, generally, no. First, I'll come to Eddie or Chidbo. Are you comfortable with the home-based school feeding that the federal government is going to kickstart on Thursday?
I know if you ask me, I would say I'm not comfortable, not at all, because it's shrouded in mystery. In the first place, why will they refuse to disclose the logistics, the other necessary things that the public must know? Why? That tells you that something not too tidy is there that they are trying to hide. You know, if we are talking about transparency, good governance, the people, they have every right, they have the fundamental human right to know how their commonwealth is spent. The wealth belongs to all of us.
Yeah.
So it's not that they are doing the people any favor, by, even giving the details and the logistics. They are not doing them any favor. So if you ask me, I'll say that, secondly, the issue of data, data, because we just do things like voodoo. They just form some funny data that you don't even know what is happening. Now, if you say, okay, you want to capture these children at home, nothing is wrong with homegrown or grown home, whatever.
Home-based.
Home-based, grown, or whatever feeding it is. Nothing is wrong with it, as long as it was actually, promoting, enrollment, raising the enrollment figure of the schools, especially the elementary schools, where you see many children who are just hanging around and they don't go to school. So my problem with the thing, I'm not comfortable when we talk about, data. We do not have data. So some of these things, they just roll out figures that are not verifiable. We need, issue-based data, evidence-based data, so that people will know what is going on, and it will help us in the long run.
Okay.
So the issue of data makes me not too comfortable with that arrangement.
All right. Let me come now to Musa Bala.
Okay.
The home-based school feeding. How does it resonate with you, and generally, what's your take on it?
Honestly, I consider it very, very unpopular. It's not a nice policy, and there's not any adequate information to tell Nigerians and parents on how all these things should be taken. I remember quite all right that the PT Association of Nigeria have rejected that and condemned it because of its logistic. The government should learn lesson even from the distribution of palliatives to different homes.
Yeah.
It has never been easy. And when you look at school feeding program, it has never been planned to be extended to homes. Even during holiday, you don't do it. I don't know whether some states do it, but that's not the intention. The intention is to encourage children to come to school, and that feeding can only take place in school. It has helped a lot of society, but extending it now to homes means a lot of things. Probably I'm looking at it as if the contract has already been awarded, and probably the money has been spent and they just have to execute it. But they can still extend it. That is one of the consequences of jumping an issue before the time. It has never been planned to be carried out like this. If they really want to help the children, they should make it in form of home palliatives, so that even if you don't get, you will not end up saying that the children have been fed. No, it's not a good idea. And honestly speaking, I'm not comfortable. And I'm praying, I wish, even though it is to soon kick off, the president should see something about that and stop these people from affecting it. It's not a good idea.
All right. Thank you. Danjuma Abbas.
Well, the first respondents have even said it all. The issue of this homegrown school feeding program, I believe the initial thoughts was to ensure that school-age children are encouraged to go to school. At that time, yes, you see them carrying the flask to school. There were teachers in classes teaching them. Now that they are home, the program is now tilting more towards addressing issues of malnourishment. Though this is actually laudable again, we should blame more of the fact that this social protection policy that government had intended all along was perhaps not very well rounded in terms of craft and concept. And that is the penalty of actually government undertaking programs and projects for the people without the concept, without the peculiarities and the realities of the people put into perspective. If government is talking to the people and the people are able to provide better feedback to government, perhaps we'll be having policies that just tends to just meet the purposes for which they are rolled out. A child who is relying on the 70 naira handout of peace
a day.
a day handout, a day, just to address the issue of malnourishment, tells you that there is the bigger issue that we are living out. How about the mother who is going to be giving birth to another child soon, and until that child begins to get to the level of coming to school, attending classes, he may actually be in the same kind of situation that we're trying to avert. By and large, we do not show that we have sustainable measures at addressing these two issues side by side. And government, again, already have had this challenge about data. Who is getting what? What is the modality? There have been really little to encourage in tracking, to ensure that the expected result is actually what we are celebrating when government is giving us the performance report of this project. It is very important that the Nigerian people are really carried along in the decision-making process.
All right.
Right now, resources are scarce. Perhaps if government was talking to the people, the parents themselves will have been having more ideas on how they could actually help address the challenges that is facing them now as a result of malnourishment.
Okay.
But the parents have been left out. Government have taken the initiative head on, and we are not even knowing what source of funds government is going to utilize to actually promote or implement this program. So there are actually so much begging for answers there.
All right, thank you so much. Because of time, let's just quickly go into the third item that we are looking at today. And it's just as brief as we possibly can. We'll just give our general take. Generally, it is believed that presently in Nigeria, we have an Almajiri crisis. While some people want to say it's a northern problem, another segment is saying that it is a Nigerian problem. So I'll start from Musa Bala. What's your take on this, and what would be your generally recommended solution to this particular issue, as briefly as we possibly can?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. First and foremost, it's a northern problem in a specific form, but it's a Nigerian problem in general.
Okay.
These are neglected children due to one reason or the other. We have been practicing the Almajiri system for decades. It's a kind of way of acquiring Islamic education, but time have changed. Things have overtaken that system, and unfortunately, the whole intention have been abused. Now we have the Almajiris who are very vulnerable to a lot of issues on stake. In fact, they just roam the street, read less, and do a lot of bad things more. If you say it's a northern problem, by the time that an Almajiri grow to be an adult, he's free to go to any state of the federation and start whatever he wants to start. Let it be a good or bad thing. Won't that become a national problem? In strategic studies, there's what we call general and specific problem, or direct and indirect victim in any situation. Yeah. So you might be a victim indirectly, and somebody can be a victim directly. For example, God forbid, an Almajiri that have become a wayward child end up killing somebody. You see, the family of that person become indirect victim of that Almajiri, and that person can come from any part of this country.
Yeah.
So it's a Nigerian problem, and one of the ways why our problem lasts forever is we look at it as if it's a personal or regional or state problem. It can escalate. A problem is a problem. Like for example, now, Mr. He's one single match can ignite the entire country.
Yeah.
Into flame.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the northern governors have taken a very bold step to ensure that they have bring to an end this evil ritual, let me call it evil action of our people. And I want to call on the federal government. And for those people before the federal government that were against the movement of Al-Majris, I think it's ill advised, because Nigeria of recent received people from the United States of America, where more than 80,000 people die of COVID-19.
Yeah.
When you say that they are COVID-19 positive, are we stigmatizing them? Are we not supposed to show them love and treat them? We receive people from the United Kingdom where more than 31,000 people die. I will receive people from Canada all over. So the issue is that this is one of the right time the northern governors have an opportunity to take them back to their state. Then their state now have the responsibility to check on their parents.
All right.
I think all the states have been doing it except Yobe Collect. But Yobe said that they will not send anyone away. They can take care of them, which is a very good development. And I want to call on the federal government. I heard that some northern elders were against the movement of these Al-Majris. Well, that is their opinion. But I want to call the federal government to investigate an allegation that is going around very well, that some individuals or some group of people are using these Al-Majris to be getting money from international donors, most especially Islamic donor country, with the intention or the pretense that they will take care of these Al-Majris. I think probably is one of the reasons why these things have lasted for a very long period of time. And for those that are calling it way of life, honestly speaking, I will believe them if their children and their grandchildren are among the leading Al-Majri in the society.
Wow, thank you so much. That background was very, very important for us to clearly understand all of these issues, because many people don't really understand what it's all about. Let me come to Eddie or Chidbo now. What would be your general advice on how it can be curtailed?
Yeah, my general advice, before I go to the advice, I want to
Time.
make... Yeah, I know, but I have to make this reference because it has to do with the post Emir of Kanu, who brought this issue to limelight, and it began to raise a lot of dust. Today, we have now agreed with what he was saying. The Al-Majiri syndrome, Al-Majiri syndrome is now backslide. So the way forward, as far as I'm concerned, is that the leadership must take responsibility.
Okay.
What has led to this is the failure of leadership in the first instance, because we have had different times white papers, all kinds of researches on how to tackle it. Remember the issue of Al-Majiri school system and the rest of them.
Yeah.
So it's because we are facing this because we have we don't implement. There's no implementation. It's not that they don't know the solution, but we don't want to implement. This time around, I think they should do something, because before it, backfires on all of us.
Okay, Danjuma.
I am forced to remember bills like the child rights, bill that have not been able to sail across in many states of northern Nigeria, especially. And then I look at the policy somersault that came about in 2015 and 2016 when these Al-Majiri schools were built. There was this identity crisis of these people don't want to be called Al-Majiris and whatnot. I am very, very pained by the circumstances around how these people have been handled over the years, the kind of living conditions that these people are subjected to, and then the expectations again that will still make good citizens out of people who live under some of the cruelest, states and conditions. It is my hope that Kaduna State government, the Nigerian Governors Forum, and the federal government, and especially our parliament, the National Assembly, will really do something lasting in providing a kind of protection policy and legislative framework, legal framework, for protecting this kind of people that we have, that as they dot across the landscape of this country.
All right, let's quickly take some calls now. 081 989 and 070-878-00989 are the numbers to dial to add your voice to our conversation. Let's take this call. Hello? 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 We are not connecting. Okay, let's take this. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, you're welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Elizabeth, I'm calling from Today Elu.
Okay, what's your
Please,
take?
I want to talk about this school feeding.
Okay.
What modality are they going to use? Because to me, for them to make it to be transparent, the class teacher, the head teacher should be there. For them
Okay.
to be able to bring out their file and be able to locate the address of those children, whether they are truly in school or not, for quick transparency.
Okay.
So I just want to know what modality are they going to use?
That's a big question that we are also looking for answers for.
They could have used it as a palliative.
Actually, that's what they intended to be. It's part of the general palliative package that they claim they want to give out to students, that the fact that they are at home does not mean that they will still not benefit from the feeding. That's their general
Okay.
thought.
Okay, the other thing I want to ask is that all these Alomajiri case, all these people that are training them, are their children among the Alomajiri?
That's too, I have no answer to.
That's okay.
All right. Madam, you want to put me on the spot. All right. Let's take this other call. 081400989 and 07087800989. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello?
Hello, good evening. You are welcome to the program.
Yeah, good evening. I can hear you.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Ernest, calling from Sabo.
All right, quickly in 1 minute, let's have your take.
All right. My say about all this is I just don't understand how our leaders are trying to lead us in this country. We are trying to fight a pandemic which says don't stay at home, don't move. And you are asking people, or you are still permitting a kind of palliative of children feeding at home. What about the virus that we're fighting? What about the pandemic? You are trying to make people move from house to house, feeding children at home. Who are the people giving such advice to our government? It's bothering me a lot.
Okay. All right.
And also the Alimajiri ones.
Yeah.
Are they trying to make this pandemic spread more? You have children, lots of them that has this virus. Leave them where they are and try to take care of them. What are the billions of money they are requiring for? What are they used for?
All right. All right, thank you. Let's take this
Thank
other
you.
call.
That's little I can.
All right, thank you. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero. We missed that one. Okay. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the program. Hello. Okay, that one is connected, but you are not talking. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Sunday, Nigeria.
Oh, Sunday, Nigeria. How are you today?
Fine, sir.
All right, quickly, let's have your take.
What I'm trying to say now is that about the feeding of the students.
Yeah.
Please, I'm not in support of that issue. Please, the federal government, I don't know why, who is the people giving them that type of advice. The advice is not unfair at all. Now, if you want to feed, look at a lot of people, hunger everywhere. Okay, now, if they want to feed now, how are they going room to room? Are they going to every compound? It's unfair at all. It's not good at all. I don't know who the person giving that President Buhari advice like that.
All right.
I don't know why it's like that. Nigeria, who do all this kind of thing like this? Abba, Nigeria. It's a pity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sunday, Nigeria. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, His.
Yes, you are welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Aye Kinafa.
Aye Kinafa. Quickly in 1 minute, can we have your take?
Gambari is an excellent one. I welcome his appointment, and I want to say kudos to the president, and I believe that Gambari will deliver.
Okay.
On the issue of Almajiri, as Musa Balab said it all, we agree it is a northern problem, so they should leave us to solve our problem. we don't want sentiment into this issue. I want to thank one lady who called that those training Almajiri are their children inside the Almajiri, and those who don't want this Almajiri to be off are their children there also. And I think we should get over this issue. Thank you and remain blessed.
Thank you so much, Aye Kinafa. Let's take one more call and we'll call it a wrap. This would be our last call for today. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. You are welcome to the program.
Good evening.
Yes, quickly, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm Pascal calling from television.
Okay, quickly in 1 minute.
It's all right. My take is on the feeding of school pupils. Honestly, I begin to wonder why the federal government are doing things the way they just feel like doing it. Okay, we are talking about lockdown, and they are telling us that they want to feed the school children. What criteria are they going to use in feeding these children? Is it going to be house-to-house feeding, or are they going to invite the whole students to come out in one school to get the food? That is the question I want to ask, and I want to know how the criteria they will use.
All right. Thank you. All right, quickly, we'll also quickly read some of the posts that we had. Isaac Habila is saying that the appointment of Ibrahim Gambari, a man of high and good pedigree by President Buhari, is a good one. But how much impact will his pedigree make towards the development of this great entity, Nigeria? This is a great task of which Nigerians are looking forward to his contributions in developing the country. We pray for his great strength and ability to live up to the task. Okay, this next one is coming from Chidek Sam Aboko. He's saying, good day, presenter and the guest. Appointment of Ibrahim is a welcome development, but as he's going there, he should do the right thing to move the country forward. God bless him, Victor. Aldo Peter is saying Professor Ibrahim Gambari's appointment as the new chief of staff to the president is a nice one. This has put to rest the feud among the cabal. To rest, he is neutral. Akoje Thompson is saying, good evening. The appointment of Ibrahim Gambari is not a problem, but he should work on what will make the country to move forward and to make Nigeria to smile. To me, Almajiri is a problem to Northern and not a problem to Nigeria, because during the regime of Goodluck Jonathan, a school is built for the Almajiri in Sokoto State and abandoned it. So what else do they want? Okay, Victor Marcos Victor Leonard is saying Professor Gambari appointment as chief of staff to president is fake news. You can imagine that. Please disregard on the official statement. I want to officially also tell you that I have gotten the official statement. It's not a fake news. So, Marcos Victor, also do your homework. And Isaac Abila, again, is talking about Almajiri crisis is a northern problem and not a Nigerian problem. On a sociological outlook, it is a national problem which tend to emanate from the north. Reasons because of leadership responsibility. Manned this way, this tax has failed, of which the negative and positive effect of it affect the entire country. So please, those saddled with the responsibility should be persuaded to sit up and take responsibility. Leadership is paramount in this case. And the last but not the least, Vincent Uwunde, I am 100% sure that if Gambari maintains his neutrality, he is one of the... Well, Vincent Uwunde, we are running out of time and we have to leave now. We quickly come to Musa Bala first to give us his parting shot. Musa Bala, what will be your parting shot?
Yes, on the issue of Gambari, I think the president have even surprised Nigeria. Remember, he's not even among those people being expected or being rumored from the beginning.
Yes.
And on the issue of Almajiri, I'll insist it's a national problem.
Okay.
Form of Almajiranchi is taking place in all parts of the country. Even of recent, there were many truck loaded of people that the southern people consider it as Almajiri, that they are penetrating them. And that has been giving them sleepless night.
Yeah.
And these same people that are laborers are the same Almajiri that when they grow, they abandon the Almajiranchi and become laborers. And thank God, some of them are good, But the bad ones, if they perpetrate their evil, it affects everybody. So let us please join hands together to condemn this and bring it to an end. And let's pray for our country to continue to have everything easy. Plant a maize today. It's a rainy season. You don't need to water it. It will grow.
Thank you. Eddie Ochidba, what will be your parting shot?
My parting shot is to recall that the 13 million or 12 million out of school children, a good pool, a good percentage of that pool is drawn from the Almajiri.
Okay.
So what is happening now is a fallout of how we can all stand up. I mean, our leadership should stand up and address it properly.
Okay, Danjuma?
Yes, the people should engage the development of these policies and programs. They should take this engagement seriously, because at the end of it all, we will want accountability. The Abacha's glut that have returned to Nigeria, we do not know where these monies are going into. If we don't ask questions, we will never know. And so we don't know whether it's going to go into the school feeding program or another. We hope that government will open up to give citizens information as to what really they are going to do and the kind of modalities they are going to follow in ensuring that every child is fed in this homegrown school feeding program.
All right, thank you so much. And that's about the size of the package today. I want to say a very big thank you to Musa Bala, Eddie Ochidba, and Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. Thank you all for having time to be on Ground Zero. And for everybody that called into the program today, I also appreciate you all. Until on Saturday from 4 to 5, one will be on for another package of the program. I would say, like always, plant a tree today, water it or allow rain to fall on it, and watch it grow. May the good mighty Lord bless and keep us all. I am the peacemaker with a passion for crowd satisfaction. I am Ehis Adbon.
Barka da zuwa Zenith Bank. Da na star 96